If you are preparing to list your house and you are in the process of interviewing listing agents to see who would be the best fit, let's say you've got a listing agent coming to your house today at 2 p.m. What should you be doing or thinking about? What questions should you have ready? And what should you expect from a listing appointment? The first thing to think about is that it's really kind of a mutual interview process. You want to feel like the person is a good listener, like they're on your wavelength, like they are paying attention to what's important to you and what your goals are. Your agent should clearly outline the agent and the seller's different roles and responsibilities and expectations so everybody's on the same page. You should cover communication. Should that be done via email or text? Do you only want to hear from her if there's interest, or do you want to hear from her after every showing or at a predetermined weekly time? You want to get an idea that the agent has knowledge and experience and expertise in your particular neighborhood, as well as negotiating experience and background. You want to come away from this meeting feeling confident that this person will do a good job of marketing your home, as well as keeping the transaction in line and negotiating the best for you from start to finish. So what are some of the things that the agent should be addressing during the conversation? The agent should clearly explain the timeline of the selling process from start to finish so you know what to expect. That means preparing the home for photographs, doing any staging and or improvements or repairs that might need to be done, discussing showings and potential open houses, and then talking about what happens when offers come in and how they are negotiated, as well as outlining what happens between going under contract and closing, because a lot of times sellers don't really know what's going on then, so your agent should explain that. The agent should come prepared with a CMA, or comparative marketing analysis, which is a tool that helps to show you what the price range ought to be according to other sales nearby of comparable properties. And that CMA should be reviewed in detail with you. Beyond simply listing your property on the MLS with some pictures and a description, the agent should explain her marketing program. What is her plan as far as open houses, social media, any kind of mailings or email blasts within her company, directly reaching out to agents who have sold in the area. There are also ways to draw attention to the best highlights of your property with materials left in the home, like improvements you've done or points of interest and attractions in the neighborhood. So your agent should talk to you about all of those things that she does to market a home like yours. Your visit should definitely include a transparent financial conversation so the agent understands where you are coming from, what you need, what the finances look like, and that may help better position the property as far as what price point you go with. That conversation absolutely also needs to include compensation for that agent, as well as potential compensation for the buyer's agent. And remember that you want to focus more on net proceeds than listing price or even sale price, because it's what you walk away with that you really need to be clear on, which is why you also need to be clear on your closing costs and any staging or repair costs, because those will take away from your net proceeds. On the other hand, if you do some of those repairs and staging, the idea is that what you gain in purchase price is more than what it costs to do the repairs. At least that's the way it's supposed to work. Finally, the agent should walk through the home with you, and you should point out sort of the pros and cons to help that agent figure out, again, how to highlight the best features and maybe reduce the focus on, or if there's any way to improve some of the negatives. So the person has to familiarize themselves with the property, obviously. Your agent should suggest a realistic timeline for getting the property to market and give you estimates on the cost of repairs that are suggested, as well as the return on the investment, so you can decide what makes sense to do or not to do. Finally, while the agent in no way needs to be your best friend, And it's much more important that that person comes across as professional and that she knows what she's doing. This is your home, and you want to make sure that somebody is representing it and marketing it in the best way possible. So you do want to feel like the person believes in your home or property and sees the positives. And it is helpful if you feel like that person is, I guess, as you'd say, on your wavelength. Again, they don't need to be your best friend, but someone who is easy for you to communicate with, because there is a lot of communication that is necessary during this process, and it is stressful enough with everything else going on. The communication with your agent should not be a stress point. So choose someone that you think you can talk to transparently and easily.